The evening news is filled with stories of violence and crime, but for those who do not want to be a headline or a statistic, they can choose to be well armed and well trained. The Swanson Tactical Training Center in Ogden, Utah is designed to allow police, military, and homeland security agencies train in realistic environments and situations.
We talk about speed, surprise, violence of action. We work to establish our momentum and our flow.
Bart Heslington and Jamie Garcia are with the Ogden Metro SWAT team. They are working with their officers to train for a situation that happens all too often.
What we're going to be doing is we're going to be extracting people from a vehicle. There's been a situation that's evolved into a hostage situation. Somebody's barricaded in the situation. Team leaders have made a decision that we need to resolve the situation.
With 20,000 kidnappings a year in America, this is a dangerous scenario that these elite officers must train for so that they know how to act when lives depend on it.
We try to set up each scenario different. You really watch the fine things, which way the weapons are being pointed, where their fingers, where their hands, the angles of fire, just to make sure that everybody's thinking. We're split up in two different sticks. The person on the left side, he was to jump up on top of the hood and take control of the driver. The second person, his job was to take care of that back passenger seat. The third person took care of the trunk and watched the rear of the seat. On the right side, he had security on the front, and he had the door opener that opened up the door. Two more guys on the right side, they're the ones that take the people out, and they took control of whoever was in the vehicle.
SWAT is set. Stand by, go, go, go.
Do what I say! Do what I say! Stop it!
The officers will use a flashbang grenade to stun the assailant. Then they strike fast, and they strike hard.
Whenever we work on training, we try and make it as realistic as we possibly can. One of the things that I talk about a lot with my team is the importance of muscle memory, and during our training there is a lot of repetition. And I know that the guys get tired of me saying, okay, set it up again. But it's critical when we go into a situation and it hits the fan, the last thing they need to be worrying about is those basics. You know, one of the things that you hear commonly is people talk about if they're taken captive and they're going to do whatever they feel like is going to help them survive. I think that if someone who is a concealed carry holder and they are in a situation where they feel like they can defend themselves, then they would have to consider taking action.
No one knows if or when evil could come knocking at their door. Concerned citizens can prepare for the worst by being well equipped and well trained. They can learn from the men and women of law enforcement who are constantly training to keep their tools sharp. At the Swanson Tactical Training Center, Sergeant Will Cragen of the Ogden Police Department is working with recent Police Academy graduates as they prepare to stand along the thin blue line to protect us.
Okay, guys, here's what we're going to do. What we have here is the various Beretta handguns that they have, the 9mm, 40s, and 45s. Okay, the guns are equipped with the Insight tactical weapon-mounted light. Remember, when you manipulate this light, as you punch the weapon out, okay, with your non-firing hand, activate the light to illuminate the target, engage the target, track it down, eyes muzzle target, okay, light comes off. I do my secondary scans, okay. That's how we manipulate it, okay? If you want to keep the light on, as you punch it out, you just press up with your thumb instead of pushing down, and that leaves the light on.
These training tips that are passed on to the cadets apply to any trained shooter who wants to equip their handgun with a fixed light or laser. The decision to add a weapon-mounted light gives a tactical advantage when operating in low-light situations.
On the command of up gunner threat, 2 rounds, center mass. John!
My first gun ever was a 96 Beretta, 40 caliber, and I've loved it. Haven't had any problems with it at all.
As instructor Jack Rickards knows, one of the most fundamental decisions a shooter makes is what caliber of weapon to carry.
In the environment that we live in, with individuals who walk into shopping malls with semi-automatic rifles and shotguns and handguns. We need to have enough rounds in order to be able to deal with the problem. And 9mm and 40 have that. 40 caliber is a wonderful gun, but a little bit slower, and the magazine capacity is a little less.
The PX4 Storm, it seems to work real well for me. It's good grip, smooth trigger pull. It's a double action. You don't notice much between the first and the second shot. I like it.
So it's got a pretty consistent trigger pull then?
Very consistent.
Good. Good.
The decision of which caliber to carry is not as simple as how many rounds are in the magazine, because while you carry more 9mm rounds, the 45 has substantially more punch. At the U.S. Training Center in Mayock, North Carolina, former U.S. Special Ops team member Larry Vickers shows the difference in energy transfer between the two calibers.
Okay, what we're about to do in this particular demonstration is look at the energy transfer between 45 and 9mm. We're going to shoot a single cinder block with 4 rounds from each caliber from about 7 yards and see what happens.
Albert Einstein's famous equation E equals mc squared can be used to equate the amount of energy created by the standard 9mm round and the 45 ACP. The 9mm travels at 1,200 feet per second, and with a mass of 7.5 grams, generates 475 joules of energy. While the 45 ACP travels significantly slower at 850 feet per second, its mass is more than twice that of the 9mm, allowing it to generate 540 joules of energy, 14% more punch than the 9.
Okay, our results are right here. This is the 9mm cinder block. You see I had 4 rounds go through there and eventually punched out through the back. 45 ACP did a little bit more damage. Only took a couple rounds to essentially disintegrate the cinder block. Now what does this mean in the real world? Well, if you're hiding behind cinder blocks, it's not good to have somebody shooting at you in 45 ACP. It doesn't necessarily translate to terminal performance inside a body. There's many factors involved there. Is the individual on drugs? What size is he? What placement is the bullet coming in? And do you have hollow point ammunition? My opinion on 9mm versus 40 or 45, the great pistol caliber debate in this day and age, is real simple. If you have the ability to carry modern hollow points, you pick 9mm. There's a lot of really good pistols in that caliber that hold a lot of bullets. In 45 ACP, that comes into play if you can only carry full metal jacket and ammunition. Real simple, it pokes a bigger hole in the bad guy.
The criminals of the world do not play by the rules, and they do not always act alone. According to a Florida State University study, over half of the time a gun is used in defense is when facing 2 attackers. And in over a quarter of the cases, the defender is facing 3 or more attackers. Fort Harmar Rifle Club in Marietta, Ohio, SWAT Commander Rob Hout and tactical firearm instructor Ken Hackathorn have a drill to improve speed and accuracy when facing multiple assailants. Rob will run through this effective training exercise with a Beretta PX4 Storm in 9mm, 40, and 45 caliber to show the difference in recoil management and shooting accuracy.
This drill is called the 1 to 5 drill. It's shot at 10 meters. We've got 3 silhouette targets. They're IDPA silhouette. On command, he will draw and fire 1 shot at the left target, 2 at the center target, 3 at the right. He'll then go back to the center target for 4 shots, back to left target for 5. So you shoot a total of 15 rounds. What we want to see is his ability to control the weapon, shoot it accurately and quickly. He's going to start with a 9mm PX4 Storm Beretta pistol. So let's see how he does on this. Excellent, well done. Time of 6.96. 6.96 seconds. He's got 1 shot out of the circle, that's 1 point. Center target, all 6 are good in the vital zone, and on the right target, he has 1 shot out of the vital zone. So that's basically 2 seconds added to his 6.96 time, or he ends up with a final score of an 8.96. The next pistol we're going to try here is the Beretta PX4C. That's for constant action in 40 caliber. It means it's a double action trigger every time. Good way to tell, for example, you'll notice the slide's what we call a slick slide. There's no decocking lever on either side. You only have one choice of that constant DA trigger. 180 grain bullet, a little bit more recoil mass. He's got to work a little bit harder in controlling the recoil. But watch his trigger stroke. Remember, if you're slapping or snatching the trigger, you're going to shoot badly, no matter what kind of gun it is. Trick is constant pressure straight to the rear every time you fire the gun. Let's let Rob try this same drill with the .40 caliber PX4 Storm C. Shooter indicates he is ready, and stand by. Good, good, and recover. Time with the .40 caliber pistol is 8.41 seconds, 8.41. You know, a little bit longer, 2 seconds or so longer than 9mm. Let's go check and see how the hits look with the .40. First target, all 6 hits, nice centered hits. Second target, all good 6 hits in the middle. Third target dropped 1 shot about a ½ an inch low. So we'd end up with a score of 9.41. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna try the same drill with the Beretta PX4 Storm .45 caliber pistol. And remember, the unique thing about this gun is it's only got a 10-round magazine capacity, so he's gonna have to do an emergency reload to finish the 15-round drill. Rob, are you ready? All right, shooter, stand by. Time was 10.34 seconds. First target, 6 hits, 1 out. Center target, 1 about a ½ an inch, maybe a ¼ inch out of the vital zone. Third target, they're all in. So we're gonna add 2 seconds to his time, which he ends up with a 12.34. If we compare the 9 and the .40 and the .45, what we see pretty much is it took longer. Accuracy-wise, the truth of the matter is, in a competent shooter, there's not a lot of difference. If you can do this drill in 20 seconds or less with the pistol you carry, I don't care where you go in the world, you're gonna be a pretty good hand with a gun. On the other hand, if you can't do it in 20 seconds, you need practice and practice and practice.
The decision to carry a firearm should not be taken lightly, but it is a decision that could save someone's life. And there are more choices to make, such as which caliber, or whether to equip the weapon with a fixed light or laser. There is no one correct answer for these questions. Each shooter must find the right fit for themselves, and they must always be prepared, because lives depend on it.